It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Get started.
Hopefully I don't get nervous.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the Yale's head volleyball coach, Coach Erin Appleman. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college volleyball?
Sure. I don't think I knew I was going to be coaching in volleyball until the job opportunity presented itself to me. As a senior student athlete at San Diego State, my assistant became the head coach at University of San Diego and asked for an assistant for a whopping $5,000 the year for the year. And I just jumped at that opportunity to do something I loved. It was fabulous. And so obviously I also had to have another job that paid the bills, and I was going to night school at the time. So it was a lot for about 2 years. And I just really found that this is what I wanted to do. My dad coached me in club volleyball. And so I had been kind of brought up as a coach's kid, and I think it was just a kind of a natural transition for me.
What was that experience like for you going to play college volleyball at San Diego State?
It was incredible. It was a great place. Rudy Sawar was my head coach there. He is a legend in the volleyball world. And I learned a ton from him and the program. And Sue Hagerly Snyder was the assistant who I went with at USD. So it was a dream come true.
What was that feeling like for you getting to put on that volleyball uniform and representing them?
It was great. I mean, I'm not that tall of a player, so I'm 5'5" in a world where 6 feet is pretty small. So to be able to play Division I and go to the NCAA tournament, I mean, it was a spectacular place. I love the San Diego energy, and I really, really, really loved it. I grew up in Southern California, so it wasn't too far from home.
While being a college athlete, what were some of your biggest accomplishments on the court?
Actually, just playing and starting front row was great. I became captain, I think, my junior year. So there were some definitely accomplishments but honestly, it was a very long time ago and I don't remember all of them. So, but I, still connect with my teammates from there and keep in touch. So that's been really great.
Coming out of college, what was that experience like getting started into coaching?
Interesting from the other side when you flip the script and now you're trying to convince people to work out and do the things that you need to do to become successful. Again, I did it part-time, was basically just a practice coach for about a year. And then the second year I was able to be in the office and seeing how much other work had to be done. And it's not just about training volleyball and the skills. There's so much more to it.
How was that experience like coaching at your alma mater and seeing what it's like as a coach?
Well, I coached at USD, but just seeing that the impact you could make on someone's lives, working with someone, and it's the people that really kind of keep me going back to this. And my first job, I was younger than like 2 of the players that were on the team. So that was an interesting thing, but just, kind of the first years, the freshmen were just kind of helping them along the way and kind of teaching them about how to get a routine and how to be successful in college, I think was some of the highlights of my early coaching careers.
What was that experience for you going to Penn State and getting to become an assistant coach there?
Russ Rose is the head coach at Penn State, arguably one of the best women's volleyball coaches ever. I worked there for 10 years under Russ and learned so much. The level was incredible. My first year there, we went to the Final Four, ended up losing in the finals. It was just an amazing, amazing thing, kind of seeing the level of talent and dedication that these athletes had. And in working under him, it was fantastic. I learned so much about when to call timeouts, what to say in things, how to prepare a team, how to scout, everything, recruiting, everything. It totally changed a lot of my thought processes for, a higher level of athlete, player, coach, relationships, all of that.
As a coach, what was that experience like coaching in the Final Four for volleyball and going to the national championship in '99?
So we went to, when I'm in my time at Penn State, we went to 5 Final Fours and we won in '99. So it was a long time coming. The '99 championships happened to be in Honolulu, Hawaii. So bonus to that group. So we got to celebrate in Hawaii. It was just incredible to be on that kind of national stage. And, at that time, they were a lot of the people that I had recruited, a lot of the players that I had worked with, and was just so happy for Coach Rose. It was his first. He went on to win a ton more, I think 5 in a row at one point. But it was the first one for Penn State, and it was just an incredible feeling, playing and having a game plan and having the players execute it and being successful was really great.
For you as a coach, coming off of that '99 championship, what was that experience like getting into being a head coach and coming to Yale?
Sure. I actually was an at-home mom for about 2 years. My husband was also in coaching at Penn State. And so he needed to get a job change. So we looked for jobs for me, and I interviewed at Yale and got extremely lucky. My first year, I had a 2-year-old and a 4-month-old. So I'll be honest, there's a lot of memories that I wasn't sleeping a lot during that time. But just being here at Yale at such a prestigious institution and figuring out what Yale is and what the Yaleys here are like and what would work. I took a lot of the things that we did at Penn State. I always joke and say I take everything from there. We do it for less time and a little bit lower on the net than we were at Penn State. But yeah, it has been incredible. I've been here 20 years developing this program, and the relationships that go into it and kind of the culture, all of that together has been an ongoing thing. I don't think you ever just come and that's what you do. It constantly is changing.
For you as a head coach, what was that feeling like the first time you got to step onto that Yale court?
Pretty amazing. It's a pretty, this is one of the oldest institutions in America, arguably one of the best institutions in the world. And me being a little part of that is pretty overwhelming.
What was that feeling like the first time you got a win on that Yale court as a head coach?
Really, really great. The second year we were here, there was a 4-way tie for an Ivy championship. We were in it. We played. We won. And I remember at the end of it, when we were going to the NC2As, when we won and went to the NC2As, I was so ecstatic. It was almost like winning the national championship all over again. It was such an incredible feeling. I'll never forget that.
Of course, being a head coach in an Ivy League, what is that experience like competing against those Ivy League schools like Princeton, Harvard?
Yeah, I think, all the schools have had moments where they've been good. I've been really fortunate. We've won a lot of championships. We've come in second a lot of times. We've only come in third once. So my first year we came in fourth, but then after that, I think there's different schools that have been really good along the way. When I got here, Cornell was extremely good. Penn was really good. Princeton was good. There's been moments. Harvard's been good. Like every school has had rivalries. Obviously, there's nothing like Yale, Harvard, and that's just a fun game for everybody.
Throughout your time, what has it been like taking Yale to 12 Ivy League titles and 9 NCAA appearances?
Pretty incredible, I gotta admit. It's I talk to everybody when recruiting about, we can't guarantee championships, but we can guarantee you're going to be in the hunt for a championship every year. And everyone has been different. Everyone has been a little bit different. The makeup of the teams are different. What our goals are different. So, when I'm in the mix, I don't really think about them. But when you step back and you're like, wow, that's a lot. It's pretty overwhelming. But just the daily grind is the daily grind, regardless of the championships or not.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture and the championship culture that you've started to build?
Yeah. I think culture and the relationships with the players and what we believe in is really it's so critical for what we do. When we go out recruiting, we recruit certain players that we feel can fit in with the program, that offer something to give as well as receive from the program. I think it's just one of the biggest things. There's a lot of programs out there that the players all get along, and maybe they're not successful. There's programs that are very successful that they don't get along. And I feel very fortunate here that we've been able to accomplish both of those. Our players truly get along with each other on and off the court, and yet we've found a way to be super competitive every day in practice, which helps us be successful when we get to the matches.
What does a typical match look like at home when you're playing teams like Harvard?
Pretty big crowd, especially for Harvard. We have a routine that we work on. It's changed throughout the years. I let my captain kind of take away or add something to whatever they want to do with the routine of getting ready. But honestly, for me, game days are such a long day until you can actually get to the match. I think that's probably true for most coaches, because by the time game day comes, you've pretty much done all the work you're going to do. You've scouted, you've prepared your team. Now it is up to them, which might be one of the hardest things as a coaches to understand, is letting the team do their thing that they do well.
What does a typical away game look like when going to teams like Princeton?
We're very fortunate in the Ivy League that we bus everywhere. We can leave some days day of. We're very centrally located within the conference. So, typically, like if you're talking Princeton, we would bus the night before, maybe practice that day, do a pregame meal. Everything revolves around food a lot, revolve around food. So pregame meal, do the match. Again, long day kind of waiting for that match to happen.
As a head coach, what are some of your game day routines and rituals like?
Well, I used to go shopping, just to walk around. We have a really nice downtown area here in New Haven. I used to try to go do something not volleyball related, but that got expensive. We have a lot of games. So, typically I'm watching more film, trying not to dwell on it, try to call some people and chat and talk, because the week is so busy that prior to game day, it's nice to kind of reconnect with people. I'll call my daughter or my son and chat with them for a little bit. And then once we kind of do our pregame meal, then it's kind of like, okay, game on. This is what we worked all week for.
What is that home game atmosphere like at Yale?
Pretty good. We get a good crowd here, especially for, the conference and in the Ivy League. We have a fantastic TV crew. All our games are on ESPN Plus, and our product is really good. We have a couple different people, color, everything. So it is really a great event. We have video boards inside of JLA, which is where we play. That really make it an event. And I think that's really, really different than some of the other Ivy Leagues. It's not just a match. It's an event to come to. It's a fun time to be if you're a student here at Yale, or just someone who loves volleyball.
What does that prospective student athlete, the recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes looking to come to an Ivy League school like Yale?
Yeah, academics, academics, and academics, I think, are the first 1 through 10, probably. Making sure you're taking the classes that will help prepare you for an Ivy education. Identifying talent. We spend a lot of time in the spring going to various tournaments, identifying talent for what our needs are. We're not going to recruit the same position every year, so it's a little bit different every year. Volleyball is a very skilled sport, so you're looking for some of that. You're looking for great athleticism. But again, it's academics, and it's finding the right people that you want to spend 4 years with and more. When we talk about, recruiting to Yale, it's not just what's the next 4, it's the next 40, it's your life. and hopefully those relationships last post-graduation too.
What does that official visit look like for those prospective student athletes coming to Yale, and how is it like seeing them fall in love with the campus and the facility?
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. Let's just start off by saying I am so fortunate to work here at Yale. It is an incredible place. It's beautiful campus. They have a residential college system that is huge. It's a little bit different than other schools, but really kind of makes Yale a home for many, many students. So if, once we get some official visits, you do find that players just go, this is the place for me. And I love that about Yale. And so, it's about, all of the things kind of, are they going to be good for the community? Are they going to be good on a volleyball team? Are they going to be that? It's probably typical, very close to most other official visits. You come in, it's again, probably revolves around meals, some sporting events, and then just getting to know the players, I think is one of the important things.
As a head coach and obviously having a career as a successful career and bringing championships, what is it like seeing those prospective student athletes, seeing those trophies that they may achieve throughout their career?
Probably helps in recruiting, so that's nice. But I think, I don't think people come here for the trophies or for the awards. I think they come here for, the incredible education they're going to get, what they're going to do outside of volleyball. And volleyball ends up being, a pretty big part of their life here. But, really it's more about what you're doing in the present, not what we've done in the past or what we'll do in the future, but about what we do here today.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that Yale uniform for the first time?
It's fun. It's really, really neat. They kind of get really excited, and we have a pretty traditional, obviously it's blue and white, very traditional uniform. And I think kind of, wow, I am part of something bigger, something that's been here for 300 years. And, it's a really unique situation.
What is it like as a head coach seeing them achieve those first milestones, their first digs, their first points?
For me, it's not so much about that. It's more of them doing something that we worked on in practice. So if we worked on, let's say, tool in the block, and you have a player who goes up and tools the block, and then they get so excited because they've been working on that skill, and then they incorporate it in a match. And, to me, those are the moments that are the most rewarding. When someone has put in the effort to change or to get better at something, and then they can see the result of that. To me, those are the best moments.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those seniors put on that Yale uniform for the last time?
Sad. It's heartbreaking. We just had 3 graduate that I was extremely close to. And it's always hard when you come to graduation, but also exciting because they're just starting this journey past Yale, and you're excited for them. And then you think about, oh God, how are we going to replace them? Who's going to take that place? And you never do. You never really replace any of the seniors. You just get people to do other different things. So senior night's tough, I'll be honest with you.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing your players go on and playing in professional volleyball, whether it's overseas or nationally?
Well, we just started some national professional leagues. There's 2 going on right now, and there's one in the fall. So far, I haven't had any players play there. I've had 2 players go overseas and play. Actually, 3. We have one currently playing right now. Pretty excited to see that they're going to put their academic degree on hold and continue with the volleyball and the professional way, knowing that that degree will be there for them when they need it. But really it's Yale University. So you're going to med school, you're going to law school after this. You're really here to work a lot on a lot of different things, but your education and those things.
What is it like getting to see those players going into coaching and taking what you've taught them into their coaching career?
Fun. I've had a couple players who are do coaching, and maybe they've done it part-time for a little bit here or there while they're getting their careers ready. I had one who called me and apologized She's like, boy, I was a pain in the butt when I was there. Sorry. Now that she's on the flip side, like I talked about the flip script, we have one that's locally that runs a club program, and her and I talk a lot about, different things. So I think it's really exciting when I can have some of my players that maybe I've mentored go on and be doing their own thing.
What are some of your future plans for the Yale volleyball program moving forward?
Continued success every day, getting better. I mean, that's my goal. We talk about goals at the beginning of the year, and for me, it's always about being the most improved team at the end of the season. I think if you can accomplish that, then the wins will follow that. But really it's getting to the NC2As, it's winning matches in the NC2As. This past season, we had an incredible season, on record, probably one of the best. And the fact we went undefeated in conference, undefeated in the Ivy tournament, and then we got to play Penn State, which I obviously, Katie Schumacher Crawley is the head coach who I recruited to Penn State. And we took a set off of them. So that was a pretty big deal. They're a top 20 program, and we were able to do that. So it's really, but we want to take that match now. Now we want to take that match away from someone. So that's kind of our goals.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college volleyball?
Stay organized. Don't become overwhelmed. Stay organized, I think is the biggest advice I can give our first years, is just don't look at the bigger picture, look at it day by day, and just stay organized. Because being a college athlete, regardless of the sport, is a huge commitment, time-wise, physically, everything. So, just being organized so you can get everything in your day.
What advice would you give those college volleyball players looking to go play in the professional, whether it's Athletes Unlimited or the overseas route?
Take care of their bodies, make sure you see the trainers lots, you're rehabbing when you need to rehab, and, making connections. Sometimes it's about the volleyball, but again, it's about the relationships that you build within your teammates, and those kind of things, to really enjoy the experience and don't get too stressed of, am I starting? Am I playing? Am I doing well? Just be in the moment.
What advice would you give those college volleyball players looking to get into coaching after their playing career?
Yeah, I think, women have a really good opportunity in women's athletics to be hired. And, I think it's good to find a good mentor that you can work with and you can learn. And mentors don't have to be someone who's brilliant. It could be something but as long as you're learning during that process and you're not just doing the drills, you're just kind of like you're learning, hey, this is, the first probably couple of years when I was with Coach Rose, there's a lot of things he does that I'm like, this is brilliant. And then there's things that our personalities are different. I'm like, I think I would do it a different way, but learning the entire time to kind of format what you want to do when you become a head coach, and how you want to represent the school and your student athletes every time you wake up.
What advice would you give those future head coaches looking to build their own program and build their own legacy?
Find what's important to you. Don't be something you're not. So whatever your personality is, if you're a quiet person, you're going to be quiet. Don't try to change that. If you're a talkative person, do that. One of the things, like, I recruited at Penn State for the 10 years I was there. So when I got here, a lot of people say, oh, that's an assistant's job. And I'm like, but I'm good at it. I'm going to continue to do it. So I do a lot of the recruiting here because it's something I'm good at. So don't change who you are. Pick what you're good at, find assistants that are good at your weaknesses.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Yale volleyball program at?
Yale volleyball Instagram. I'm Appleman Coach on my Instagram, although I've got to be honest, I'm not real social media. But Yale has a Twitter account. We have an Instagram. I think we have a TikTok. So somewhere over there, I couldn't give you the names of them. I'm sorry.
Thank you again, Coach Erin Appleman, for your interview, and best luck in your future as the head volleyball coach at Yale.
Thank you so much for your interview. I really appreciate it, Brandon. It was great. Thank you.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Erin Appleman, for your interview. Best luck in your future.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.